Good morning, friends. Sat Sri Akal, Adab, Namaskar. Now we will talk of the biggest and the most Decorian Governor General order, that is of 179 1836. In this video of my 126, I will purely speak law. I will not speak left and right. So please, I'll be reading through my laptop. It's very important. Some people don't even know what does Governor General order speaks. So now I'm speaking these two Governor General orders. Governor General regulation. Regulation and orders relating to the grant of sites of lands in cantonments, Bengal. General Order of the Governor General in Council number 179 dated 12th September 1836. The Governor General of India in Council is pleased to rescind the various orders now in force in this presidency in regard of occupation of ground and the disposal of premises or buildings situated within the limits of military cantonments, and to substitute from the following regulations, which is to have effect from the date of its promulgation at different stations of Bengal Army. Occupation of land and disposal of premises and buildings. Regulation number 1. Application for land, alteration of boundaries of sites and closing or opening of roads. All applications for unoccupied grounds for the purpose of being enclosed, built or in any way appropriated to private purpose, such ground being within the limits of a military cantonment, are in the first instance to be made to the commanding officer of the station through the usual channel, and in no case are the boundaries of compounds to be changed or old roads or new ones opened without the sanction of commanding officer. Regulation 2. Certificate of commanding officer. As the health and comfort of the troops are paramount considerations to which all other must give way, the commanding officer will be held responsible that no ground is occupied in any way calculated to be injurious to other or to the appearance of the cantonment, and in forwarding any application for a grant he must certify that it is not objectionable in those or any other respect. Regulation 3. Orders of the government required. When no objection occurs, the application is to be forwarded through the prescribed channel by the commanding officer of the station to the quartermaster general of the army, who is the commander-in-chief, approves, will submit it for the orders of the government. Regulation 4. Form of application. All such applications are to be annexed. Form marked A. Regulation 5. Grants to be registered and noted on plan. All grants are to be registered by the officer of the Quartermaster General's department attached to the division and at station where no such officer may be present by the executive officer of public works, to whom also in such cases application for ground are to be addressed, and all grants are to be immediately noted upon the plan of the cantonment in the Quartermaster General office. Regulation number 6. Condition of occupancy. No ground will be granted except on the following conditions, which are to be subscribed by every grantee as well by those to whom his grant may subsequently be transferred. First, resumption of land. The government to retain the power of resumption at any given time on giving 1 month's notice and paying the value of such building as may have been authorized to be erected. Second, land belongs to government. Land cannot be sold by grantee. Transfer of house between military officer. The ground being in every case the property of government cannot be sold by the grantee, but houses or other property thereon situated may be transferred from one military officer or medical officer to another without restriction, except in the case of relief, when, if required, the terms of sale or transfer are to be adjusted by the Committee of Arbitration. Third, arbitration in case of transfer on relief. Transfer of houses to civilians. If the ground has been built upon, the buildings are not to be disposed of to any person of whatever description who does not belong to the army until the consent of the officer commanding the station shall have been previously obtained under his hand. Fourth, transfer to native. When it is proposed with the consent of the general officer to transfer possession to native, should the value of house, building or property to be transferred exceed rupees 5,000, the sale have been obtained through His Excellency the Commander-in-Chief. Regulation number 7. House claimable for purchase or hire at the option of owner. Committee of Arbitration. All houses in military cantonments being the property of persons not belonging to the army, which may be deemed by the commanding officer of the station suitable from their locality, for the accommodation of officers, shall be claimable for purchase or for hire at the option of the owner. In the former case, at a valuation, and in the later, at a rent. To be fixed in case of the parties disagreeing by a committee of arbitration constituted as follows. Note: in this clause, the following words were substituted by Governor General order by the President of the Council of India in Council number 700 dated 3rd July 1855, for the words being the property of person not belonging to the army, not being occupied by a person belonging to the army on duty at the station, or whose residence therein may be authorized by government. 7. Power to require owners to let house to military officer. The owner of any house in a military cantonment not occupied by a person belonging to the army on duty at the station, or by a person in the service of government directed or authorized by a government to reside therein, may be required to rent the same to any military officer commanding the station is satisfied that there is no other suitable house available with due regard at the rank of the claimant and to the duties he may have to perform. Vacation of house or sale to another military officer. In every such case, however, if the owner shall have formally intimated to the officer who has so obtained the house his desire to sell rather than let it, and the offer have not been accepted, the officer shall at any time be required to vacate it within a week of his receiving notice through the brigade major or station staff officer that the house has sold with the consent of commanding officer of the station to another military officer on duty at the station who requires it for his own residence. Committee of Arbitration. The rent to be paid in such case or the price to be paid for the house when the claimant exceeds to the owner's desire that he shall purchase it shall be fixed in the event of the parties disagreeing as to the amount by a committee of arbitration constituted as follows. Note: this was substituted by Governor General number 1001 dated 8th December 1864. Regulation number 8. Composition of Committee of Arbitration Appeal. The committee is to be composed of one civil officer, the principal one, if practicably at or in the vicinity of the station, the commanding officer of the cantonment, and an officer belonging to the station to be named by the proprietor of the premises, and their decision, whether relating to the terms of purchase or rent, is to be conclusive, unless it shall be revised by government for orders. The proceedings of the committees are to be submitted through His Excellency, the Commander-in-Chief, whenever the proprietor of the premises which they have valued is dissatisfied with their award. Note: this clause was amended by Governor General Order by the General Commanding in C number 74 dated 10th April 1837 to the following effect. When the commanding officer of the station is an entrusted party, the next senior officer shall be nominated one of the committee of arbitration in his place. Note 2. The following was added as paragraph 2 by Governor Order of the Governor General in Council number 54 dated 14th July 1840. Notice of intention to convene committee of arbitration, nomination of member to represent owner. Due notice in every instance be given to proprietor of premises or to their agents by the commanding officer of the cantonment the intention to hold a committee thereupon, and should any proprietor or his agent neglects to nominate a member of such committee after having received due notice, which in all cases where the proprietor or his agent shall not be resident within cantonment or in the vicinity, shall be taken to mean an official notification dated within 14 days before the day on which the committee is to assemble. It will be the duty of the commanding officer to nominate a member of the committee to represent such proprietor, and the committee shall thereupon proceed to arbitration. Note: 1 month was substituted for 14 days in paragraph 2 above the Governor General Order by the Governor General Order in See number 174 dated 5th August 1840. Regulation 9. Arbitration in case of transfer as on relief. When the house of the officer of one corps are to be transferred to those of another as on the occasion of a relief, if a difference of opinion should arise as to the fair terms of the transfer, the price shall be fixed by a committee of arbitration constituted as in the last paragraph, but to which in such cases there is to be given an additional member to be named by the intending purchaser. Regulation 10. No appeal. In this case, there is to be no appeal and the decision of the Committee of Arbitration is final. Full stop. Thank you. Good day.